I cannot cook for my wife.
As the man of the house, I go out to work. The woman of the house, she's not very good at cooking. Go on, you're like,
What do you guys think you can actually go into a relationship to change a guy?
It can also be a toxic trait.
Someone who is not self-aware and also a narcissist at this point, they don't take feedbacks.
They are intentionally trying to manipulate the other person.
I too love you. I cannot leave you alone.
You know where your strength is and where your strength lies and where your weaknesses are.
You could still live the marriage with your children and still have a good life for yourself. When it comes to self-awareness, what comes to mind?
Okay, so self-awareness in its simplest form is your ability to understand your emotions, your motivations, your thoughts, and also be aware of how it affects you and people around you. Basically, knowing yourself.
Wow, okay. This is really nice. What do you have to say?
No, nothing long. Like the way I can easily explain it and it's very understandable and relatable is that this is basically knowing your strengths and your weaknesses, right? You know where your strength is and where your strength lies and where your weaknesses are, and of course, in personal growth, how you can improve on those weaknesses that you have, and of course, get better with your strengths.
Right. So, how does self-awareness affect people? Let's start with school, for example, before we go into the business world. As a student, how do you think self-awareness affects students in school? Like those that lack self-awareness now?
Like in general, so I mean, self-awareness is a major thing, right? A lot of people think they are self-aware,
Okay.
but you realize that they are not, right?
Okay.
We all just make claims that, oh, I know myself, but really you don't know yourself. And it affects like she said, I mean, how it affects other people around you. If you're not self-aware, there are things you do that affect those around you and not just yourself. And so if you, let's say in the context of school, right, whatever level you are in, right, you could say that the way you react to your fellow friends or classmates or classmates, right, it basically directly relates to what you know about yourself. So for example, there's this issue of say a student who is already very tired, right, and you at this point in time, this student is tired. The next thing to do is like, oh, I need to rest and maybe avoid any issue or whatever it is that will trigger you or whatever.
Okay.
But because you are not aware of the fact that you're actually tired and need to rest, right? And again, usually the thing of like, you know, the statement that a hungry man is an angry man, right? And it's a case of like, at this point in time, this is what is wrong with you. And if you allow anything, if something happens when you are in this state of mind, you would have a backlash, right?
Yeah.
You don't know that that's the case. You just know that you're tired. Now, when you don't take the necessary steps to, oh, I need to rest, right? And something happens and you just get yourself into something, you would have a different reaction. And so you're irritated by something, and then the next thing you start blaming somebody else. You start shouting at somebody. That is you not being self-aware. You basically just show that you are not self-aware of yourself. But someone who is self-aware as a student, when your classmates, you know how classmates can be now, they are very triggering. Somebody just comes and maybe hits your head. By the secondary school, you just tap you, say Abbas, Obos, or whatever like this to see. And then it's like, you know that, oh, when people say those kind of things, you're very triggered, right? And then you need to find a way to, how can I avoid reacting in certain ways, right? And so this is my weakness, how do I get better here? So, of course, in school, those are things, because there are people who, especially anger management, right? There are things that you should know that gets you angry or triggers you. But then because you do not understand what those things are, and then you just flare up.
Okay, so do you think lack of self-awareness, do you think it affects students' grade?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
absolutely, because I mean, there's this guy that I know of in uni. He usually, when things happen, right?
Yeah. So
for example, we're about to start an exam, and then there's this thing that happened in class where somebody he was trying to get an answer, normal expo stuff now, and then the guy didn't respond. The guy didn't respond. It was like the guy got triggered. I was like, as per I'm trying to get answer, but why didn't he respond? And it's like it's not as if he didn't know it.
Was that in Miracle Center?
Normal uni now, university exam. It's not as if he didn't know it. I mean, this is something that we already read right before the exam. And so it was a case of, where you just need like one or two words to just remember what
Yes,
you've
yes,
forgotten.
yes, yes.
And then the guy, because I mean, the guy, people at tense at this way, was one of those serious courses, like 3-unit courses. And normally the guy used to answer like, but this time I think that guy had an issue, so he didn't remember, he didn't want to answer him, and then someone was triggered by it. And for some weird reason, I didn't see what had happened, but what I heard was happened was that apparently he kicked the guy from behind.
Wow.
Like and he was literally in front of him. I'm like, and so it was a case of like, lecturer saw him, I was like telling him to stand up, and it was like, by the time we were doing that, the guy was really pissed, as in he really shouted at the guy, like, how you call, the answer, that kind of thing. And imagine how many minutes he wasted, because it took like 30 minutes, and the exam was like an hour, 2 hours, that's for 3 units courses. And that,
30 minutes. Wow.
So yeah.
All right, so I'm going to direct the question to you now.
Can I also add to what he said? Okay, because when you talked about self-awareness in relation to school and academics, so I just wanted to add that self-awareness would help you also know the line of study that you would do better at. So when you know what interests you, what motivates you, it will help you in, although I know, yes, I know right now in the educational system in Nigeria, most people just settle for what, I mean, you sure don't get admission, let me just go and come and nobody send you on your self-awareness, but if you're self-aware, it will also help you make better choices academically, to know that, okay, in this area, if you're someone that likes logic, you like reasoning, so you know that, okay, if I go into law, I'll be able to that way. If you're someone that is excited about presenting, you like being in front of the camera, so you want to settle for courses like theater, art, mass communication. And then I like to also cite an example that happens too. If you're self-aware, you'll be able to understand how you learn best, because everybody, our learning abilities are different, and yes, so it's usually in this primary and a little bit in the secondary school that the teacher would pay attention to different pupils' learning ability, but in the tertiary institute, the lecturer doesn't have that time. So you will be the ones to know that, okay, this is how I assimilate best. And because it happens to me when we were preparing for examinations, and you'll be reading and you just come on the group chat and somebody will just come and they'll just drop things that you will now be confused, like, is this the same course that I'm reading for? That people, like, at some point, I was saying, you know what, nobody should, let me just focus and read the way I know how to read, and the way you can. So self-awareness actually helps you to, first of all, know the academic line that you will excel in, and then also know how to learn and assimilate better as a student.
I've heard of cases where some female students, some lecturers, advance female students, right? Because probably some of them didn't do well.
Okay.
And all that. And then most of them giving, you know what I'm trying to talk about, yeah?
Okay, yeah.
So, do you think these students, these female students that give in to these lecturers just to sort out maybe their papers and all that, does that have to do with low self-awareness or low self-esteem or whatever?
Well, it can also be self-awareness in the wrong side, because, I mean, when you know that,
knowing right from wrong.
Some people will be like, you hear some people tell you that, oh, me, I know, say my brain no carry book. They are self-aware that, you know what, if you leave it for them, they will not be, yes, they know that. So I can say they are self-aware, because when it comes to self-awareness, it's not only about the good things. So you also know about your weaknesses, you know your strengths too. So I believe that the people that do these things, some of them are self-aware, but in the wrong direction. Yes, so they know that, okay, if I don't give in, I might not be able to sit down and get this goal on my own or by myself.
I think it's the same thing in relationship. When somebody is dating, for example, you think you are the perfect person, right? And in most cases, when somebody lacks self-awareness, the person can be toxic.
That's even going. You're really going towards being a narcissist at this point.
Yes.
Who just has this external view of himself as being perfect the most is egoistic and proud, and then he or she is like, I am everything you should worship and believe in. Like, anything I say is fine now. I am the best.
I mean, your partner comes to you to tell you that, babe, or whatever you guys call yourself, I don't like this thing you're doing. This is what you're doing that is not correct. I don't like this relationship you're having with this person. I don't like this business transaction you're doing. It could go wrong. and then you ignore this person, you end up doing this thing, and then something goes wrong.
You know, it's not even
And again, no, most cases it's not even ignoring. You just like
even the way you project, and it's like this person is making these statements to you, but then someone who is not self-aware and also a narcissist at this point they don't take feedbacks, and so it's always a case of like they flip it around. So I'm saying that I don't like this person you're talking to, and then you say, instead of saying that, oh, I'm sorry, I will work on it, you say you are insecure.
Yeah.
Right? And then you see the whole flip side of it. And then it's like, oh, I'm saying something about, oh, babe, kiniko, I don't like it. And then I say that you are weak, or you are being triggered unnecessarily. Or like, I mean, just grow up. And like, so you know, they are never at fault, right? Yeah. And so they don't know, like, they never think, they always think about themselves as this wonderful person. Yeah. So they never care to think about their own weaknesses, their own problems and their issues. They never address any of it. As far as they're concerned, every other person is one that has the problem. I am the person that's perfect.
For example, you can spend a whole long 1 hour to complain and tell this person that this is what you're doing that is wrong. And then the question the person will ask you is, for example, maybe you saw something in the person's phone. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're not the type that check the person's phone. Maybe coincidentally you just saw a text and then you complain about the text for a long time. Do you know what the person will ask you? So why are you checking my phone?
No.
Are you guys talking from experience?
No. I'm just I'm just saying.
You know one or two.
Well, I don't know. I'm just watching.
What I'm saying in essence is, you leave the problem, like you just ignore the whole thing this person said.
I get the picture. Yes, people do that. Like what I said initially, self-awareness can be both sides. So there are people who are narcissists and they actually know that they are narcissists. Mm-hmm. So
some don't know.
Some don't know, some know. Yeah. So in this case now, it could be either of the two. It could be maybe the person doesn't know, and it could also be that the person knows, but they are intentionally trying to manipulate the other person. Yes.
And then the other person that is lacking self-awareness now, that I love you, I too love you, I cannot leave you alone. Why you are dying silently? Yeah.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you are the issue we are being faced with now with not being self-aware is that a lot of times it means that everybody around you is affected, because of course that's what the case is. What the case is. And now we say that she started out by saying that, I think before the podcast we had this. She said something about a lot of people don't know they're self-aware. Yeah. And there's this research by an Erica, I think, a psychologist, who, from my research, he found that 95% of people think they are self-aware. But when they checked, it was all about 10 to 15% of people that actually are self-aware. And so a majority of people think that, oh, I know who I am, I know myself, and all of these things. So one very good example of someone I know who is very self-aware. This lady I met in school. She's very strict. She's an extreme choleric, very strong, as in rigid like that. And she has almost no sympathy or empathy for anything. This is what she wants to do, she will get it done. If she has to cry, just to fake a cry to get the results, she will get it done. Now when I had the conversation with her, I realized that she mentioned that she can never be a doctor, that the way people will die. You be chuku just anyhow, chuku here. She doesn't know who sent you. Why are you crying? Why you? And I was amazed. I'm like, this lady knows herself. And because you know yourself, like she said, it puts you in the direction of where you should be and the line of work or the line of practice you should go into, right? And a relationship, it has a lot of things to do. And even for us in Africa, like if you bring it back home in Africa here, it's like a lot of people. I don't want to move towards like, whether it's a man thing or a female thing. It's a general thing, but I think on the most part, it's like a men's thing as well. Yeah. A woman will more often than not want to reflect and feel like, this man said this about me, because a lot of times you usually will take feedback from men. But when you tell a guy, he wants to be proud, he wants to be egoistic and everything, and then he feels like there's nothing wrong with me, and so he goes on the defensive almost every time. And so everybody around this person, either he or she, whoever it is, they're walking around eggshells. It's like, I don't want to do so, I don't get this, I don't get him offended, I don't get her offended, or trigger one or two things. And it's like, you can't even live with that person if every little thing you do, the person is triggered by it.
Yes.
And so it's like, how do you get people to actually know that they're being self-aware, and like get them to actually be self-aware? So it's like pointing out to this person like, this is the problem, right? And you need to work on it.
This is the problem, this is the solution.
But it's like,
how do you bring it? How do you present it? How do you present it? I mean, it's just like how some men used to say, some African men used to say, I cannot cook for my wife. I cannot do the dishes.
Not that they can't cook.
Not that they cannot,
but
but
that
because
one
of
is even a case of like, is this even a cultural thing at this point?
yes,
it's like it's a woman thing. Women do it.
Women do it,
I mean,
but I think that is wrong.
I
think that is wrong.
I mean,
think that is wrong.
It depends on how you look at it. So, I don't know, this is not even has to do anything about being self-aware at this point, because it's like a case of a cultural thing now. It's like I say, oh, based on culture, I'm the man of the house, and then as the man of the house, I go out to work, and then as by the woman of the house, our own job is to stay at home and cook, and it's like that's a cultural thing, right?
Yeah.
But of course, we are talking about being self-aware and knowing yourself, your strengths and weaknesses, and so again, a lot of women, and I think it also affects a lot of these things are all intertwined, right? So I know, let's say I marry Angie here, right? And then I'm like, I know Angie, I mean, I know you are a great cook, right?
How did you know?
I know you're a great cook. Absolutely know. No one is telling me. And so, I mean, so please, she's a great cook, right? But for this example, I know she's not very good at cooking. And we are all aware that she's not good at cooking, right? And then I know that I'm a great cook. But now, I mean, I still went on the mail, like, for whatever reason, let's say, oh, trophy wife, I mean, she's very stunning. And like, oh, I just don't have a beautiful wife. And then, but then it now comes to a part where, okay, now we have a family now. Honey, go and cook. Like, you are the woman of the house.
Well, you know, I mean, you knew before you married me.
But again, of course, we have to we'll make sure that, no, what do you mean by that? That what which one I do? You don't learn how to cook and all those kind of things. And like, that's it, but we all, like, but honey, I can cook. Hey, go on. You're like, but like, no, it's not my job. It's not. I mean, I don't like. So it's like all of these things are going on. Like, we keep mixing them up. And I said, no, it's a woman thing to do, but you knew obviously that she could not cook.
So in essence, if you have self-awareness, you know how to navigate this thing. You know how to communicate. If you cannot communicate, you should know how to leave.
Communication is also the number one problem we have.
Yeah.
People have as like, it's like, you know what the problem is, but then you still put your head into it. Or you know that this is what you are, or these are your weaknesses, but of course you don't want to address it. Anybody that wants to address it, you have a problem with it. Then we'll try to communicate that into you and say, okay, babe, this is what I've noticed too. But then he says, no, like everything's on the flip side.
And what I'm trying to say is this: a lot of people died because of lack of self-awareness in marriages. I can use example of one gospel singer, one woman like that. Husband was beating her till he killed her. By beating or whatever, killed by beating, right? Yeah, but what I think is, I believe strongly that if the woman was self-aware, like if she had self-awareness for herself, she would have left the marriage, because there's no her life was not tied to the man or her kids. Do you understand? So you could still leave the marriage with your children and still have a good life for yourself. So I don't think when a relationship is toxic, you should remain inside. All right, so I think the reason why most people stay there is, I can't do without this person.
I think women have that problem. I don't
even guys.
In terms of like who suffers that more is women. Yeah. And I think women have that problem because it's a case of, there's this idea a lot of women go into relationship and I will change him, I'll change him.
Why do you guys think you can actually change somebody?
You actually pointed at a lady and you're asking, why do you guys?
I'm not generalizing, all right? You're standing in for these ladies.
A good number of women.
Yeah. What do you guys think you can actually go into a relationship to change a guy? You know that this guy has a particular habit that is a number of problems that is really disturbing, and then you think you can be with this person and then change the person.
Okay.
Is it superpower that you guys have?
I wouldn't call that superpower, but it's just let me say, the mother nature.
But does it work?
Mother nature.
Yeah.
That of the woman.
Yes.
Does it work?
Every woman is a potential mother. And you know.
But not every mother is a potential woman.
I don't know.
Whatever that is.
I don't know where that came from. But what I can actually say is, you know, your mom loves you the best.
Of course.
No matter how bad the child is, the mother will never give up on the child.
Yeah.
That's why you see some mothers that know that their children are a mess, but they still want to package them and push. So it's just that nature.
So are you comparing mother and child relationship to male and female relationship?
It's part of it. That's
Even though I
one
don't
part of
agree,
it.
but let's hear what she wants to say.
Is a woman's nature. Like, okay, yes.
So I'd ask you a question. Does it work?
Most of the time,
Eh?
no,
Okay, okay.
because change, effective change, can only happen when an individual makes up his or her mind that they want to change.
Yeah.
Then, like I said, I wasn't done. Secondly, it can also be a toxic trait.
Yeah.
And on the side of the woman,
Yeah.
and which is you trying to be the savior for other people.
And that could be selfish too.
Trying to be the savior, trying to sometimes
prove your
some
points.
people do it to make them feel good. So if you are in a position where, okay, let me see if I can change this person, so you feel like, okay, you're doing something good and it will make you feel good. And what happens most time is that these women end up self-sabotaging themselves because you see them staying in uncomfortable situations and tolerating things they know that are not good for them. But at a particular point, they are not thinking of themselves. They're just after, okay, let me see if I can just do this good thing. Yeah. And then another thing too, another psychological reason too, is the desire to be accepted.
The
when
principal
when
thing.
you feel like
They
your
want to be
worth
accepted,
is tied to how people perceive you. So if you're in a relationship and it doesn't work out, sometimes you feel like, oh, okay, you're not a good person, you do it. So you see a lot of women trying to give in their best, trying to see if they can change this person. But if you ask them to really be honest and ask them, what do you really want? Aside the fact that some of them want to know what they want, the ones that know what they want can categorically tell you that this thing I'm settling for is not actually what I want. But
they know, but they still put their head.
yes, they try to see, okay, let me see if I can. Like I said, the
So
mother
what is that
nature,
one
like
thing
you
that
want
keeps
to.
holding them back?
It's a toxic trait. Is a toxic trait. Now, every individual has to do a thorough work on themselves. Like we're talking about self-awareness. A lot of people don't know that they're not self-aware. So you might feel that, okay, you're a good person, you want to be there for people, but you don't know that that is actually a trauma response. So you might be trying to do this good thing so that you can feel a sense of worth and acceptance. So if you're not self-aware, you won't know that the reason why you are in this is not because you actually want it. It's because you just want to prove a point. Yeah, maybe if I do this, yes, I would be accepted. I will feel like a good person. And then, or maybe some people enter a wrong relationship and they are fighting to see that that relationship leads to marriage, so that they will not have to go through that shame of, oh, I made a wrong choice, I made a wrong decision. So they are not being willing to accept that, oh, you know what, I made a mistake, and come out of it. You see them trying to see, okay, how can I correct it so that this thing can, you keep going deep and you keep going deep into it.
And the tragic part is that most people like this, they have good hearts, and then they end up with some sort of partners.
But you know the funny thing?
Some kind of partners with lion hearts.
Funny how women. So there's this thing where, and I don't want to feel as if we're talking mostly about women, but but of course we can definitely get to know if you have anything. But like, there's this thing that you know that happens where when you watch a lot of interviews on like these street interviews that people do, oh, do you want a good guy or like a bad guy? And then they give like, oh, and these are girls, these are 21st century girls, women, Gen Zs and whatever you want to call them, that know what they want. And it's like, first of all, why do
that think they know what they want?
That think, well, you say so, but then it looks like it's like a common thing now.
Because
right?
You might feel you know what you want.
So it's like this.
You don't. When like, a lot of people don't even know who they are, how you now know what is best for you?
What do you do when you are alone?
The funny thing is, I would agree with you on that, because the media has given a perception of what it is that we think that we want. And so in the reality, so for example, I know this one where it feels like, it looks like, oh, when you watch your series or film and then you see the way they're just having sex on like the whole, and it's like, oh wow, there's going up, there's kitchen, there's bathroom, there's flying and coming down, African pasta, whatever, and you think that that is how we actually should be in a relationship, and you go in with that mindset. And so you don't even know, like again, self-awareness, you don't even know that, oh, for me, does this kind of thing work? It doesn't work, because typically it doesn't work. But then let me not deviate too much. The thing now is that if we're saying that, oh, they think, I don't want to even say that they actually think, because that's how they come off very strong and very confident. Is that we want a guy who is good, but still has the trait of bad boy. There's this skit I watched, a very good example. There's this skit I watched on this YouTubers, and the lady is a Christian, but she says, the Christian brother that comes to meet her, like, oh, I want to, God has showed me that you're my wife, whatever. Even though that's a very dull approach anyway. But no problem. The lady now says, oh, she does this her friend later that, oh, she doesn't want them, she wants a bad guy, who has bad boy vibes, but like she has saved it. The way it's about them, they can save the person and feel good.
She wants to be the one to save.
She wants to be the one to save the guy, but it's like, oh, I just saved. This guy, it will bring the bad side.
Jesus
and
Christ.
The whole blend, and like, they want a man who is strong,
so
who is
bad guy will be inside.
Do you understand? Who is strong, who is sexy, who can do, and they're like, that is what they're looking for, right? And then the thing now is this. You say that the women, the girls who say this are not necessarily self-aware of what they are saying, or they think they are self-aware, right? And again, like I said, the statistics that most people think they are self-aware. How exactly does this even work? Like, what gives them the impression that this is what they want and that they have to get it? Because it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, you just answered it. The media pushing a narrative, and because one thing about self-awareness too is also to know your values.
Mm-hmm.
So when you know your values, then you now know what works for you. But we're in a generation where I say a lot of people are extensions. Ask me, what do I mean by extension? They are just like an extension of other people's life. A lot of people do things today that they don't even know. They've not really stopped to ask the question, why? Now I'm going to ask you a simple question that you might feel is absurd. Why do you want to get married? You want to get married someday, right?
Of course.
You want to get married someday. Why?
I mean, it's a biological thing. It's a desire that we all have. It's basically inherent in man to want to marry and have a partner, reproduce, and it's a God ordained. It's an instruction from God, right? So of course we are following that order. So the day we stop,
fulfill the will of God.
To fulfill the will of God, yes. So that's a very valid point. But let's keep that aside.
Okay.
You know that it's something we were born into.
Yeah.
And it became a part of us that when you get to some certain age, some things are required of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and people just go into it. Like, people are living in the motion. Oh, at some certain age, you have to go to school, or you have to get married.
But let's not confuse natural order of things to a systematic order of things.
Yeah, there's still, but I'm just talking about people going in with a purpose.
Yeah.
Now I asked myself the same question. Ella, you're saying, oh, you want to get married, God give me a husband. Why? Aside the fact that it's a natural order of things, why? So that's where the purpose now comes in.
You shouldn't get married because people are getting married. You should get married
But
because you want to get married.
A lot of people, even the thing, that's why I said, when you said they know what they want. Because there's a way society, culture can condition your mind, condition your belief, and you want something because it is the generally accepted something. Now, if you come up today and say you don't want to get married, people will look at you as if there's something wrong with you.
Sure.
But people don't have a personal reason, a personal drive. Yes. And like having children too, they ask you, okay, why do you want to have kids? Oh, then born me too, so me if I will born.
Honestly, I know a lady. I mean, she and her husband, they're married for some time now, and she said she doesn't want to have
She doesn't want to have kids. But it's something that I sat down and I asked myself, okay, Ella, why do you want to get married?
And so basically finding
I want to have this is kind of life I want for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I want someone I can be able to share that life with. And now that would help you in picking the kind of life partners. So some people, like I said, let me not go too far, are extension of other people's life, things they see. They cannot really sit down and ask themselves, okay, that's where the self-awareness even comes in. Mm-hmm. Who am I?
Yeah. Which means self-awareness can also make you know your purpose in life.
Yes, that is it. You know your values.
Yeah, when it comes to selecting a partner, that means you have to work with purpose and somebody that can actually match this energy.
In line with you.
I say you can't pick a life partner if you have not even figured out your
It's
life.
not advisable.
It's not
It
advisable.
happens, but it's not advisable because like you don't even know where you're going to. You don't know what to do in life. How exactly do you now pick somebody? So like, so it's like the person you are supposed to be going south. The person you are getting married to is going east
north.
or no. Like how? So what now happened? You want to enter politics.
That's why you see some
want
of them 10 years down the
Do you
line,
understand?
15 years down the line, because some of them are now going through a process of reinventing themselves, beginning to know themselves, and now their values are now changing and
like,
shifting.
oh, honey, I don't like what you are doing. Like, but you might like, but I didn't know that this was what you're going to do in the first place.
That's how I watched the movie. The man is a pastor. He got married to this lady, and then she's supposed to be mommy, according to how we call it.
Mommy Gio.
Or whatever. Like the pastor's
Our mommy in Israel.
and she's supposed to be, preaching once and all that, and then she's like living her normal life. She's like, it's not like she's very bad or anything, but she's just not interested in climbing the pulpit. She's not interested in
She's not doing the normal social media
preaching someone, nothing. She's not interested, and then because of that minor thing, they had to split in the relationship, in the marriage. So it's really important. You know your purpose. You know where you are headed. You tell this person, this is where I'm going to. Are you willing to walk this path with me? Are you willing to walk this path with this person? If you guys have common goals that you want to achieve, I think it makes it easy.
Yeah.
Easier for the both of you.
I mean,
Right.
really, yeah. It's really a case of everyone having to realize that. So there are times. So I have periods where I take a pause, and I feel like a lot of people, we go through life at a fast pace and don't pause. You say, I need to think back how my life has been so far. It's like, so we run through a full year. You've not realized, you've not come back, paused and like, oh, what happened this year?
Yeah.
What are the events that occurred? What are the things that happened to me, good and bad? And then how did I come out from those things? Yeah. So for example, if a full 24 hours has happened now, and so many things will happen in a day, and a lot of us don't pause and like, oh, what happened today? What are the things that changed? What happened to me? What happened to my friend? And then reflect on these things and build values and systems, and even have I get triggered this way. Now, when you go through life that way, just breezing through, of course you don't get to find yourself or know what you are like, identify your values, right? Your strengths and your weaknesses. You just go through, and so things are happening to you every day, and they are rushing to. So your mind, there's an influx of information in your brain, but your brain you've not come down to process every information and then let them settle. Yeah. So every single day, and so things are coming and going, come and goes, and there's nothing that stays. And so when people ask certain very fundamental questions, who are you? They don't even know. How can a man or a woman not even know who they are as a person? Okay, what values do you live by? They would have to like think, you think what? And so people need to understand that, again, a lot of us are not self-aware. Yeah. The only way you can literally tell yourself that you're self-aware is that you know what your strengths are. Like if someone asks you, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? Yeah. You can literally and specifically point them out and say, these are the places where I'm very stronger and these are the places where I'm very weaker. That is how people can identify talents and skills. Okay. Identify, like you said, where are you going to? What do you want to do in life? Your motivations and your drive. Yeah. These are the things that help you. And again, my advice to people is, don't go through life every day breezing in and breezing out. Can you go through do you understand? Can you go through a full 24 hours, get to your house or your home, wherever it is, even if it's not a 24-hour period, right? But like a month or a week, but don't let it be as long as 3 months to a year, where you've not taken a pause and analyzed and examined the first month or the first week or the day and see what things happened, and then realize I reacted this way. How else can I react? Oh, this person did this. Is it right or is it wrong? What can I learn from it? Right? And so when you do live life this way, which is how I do, it makes things easier. It helps you as a person to process your thoughts. And so your mind is not just overwhelmed with so many things, and it literally has nowhere to go, and you're just throwing them off and throwing them away from the brain. Your cerebrum cannot even process anything that is going on, and everything is just coming in and going out, right? So that would be very important for people to actually go through. And I mean, but most people can live that way and decide to always be self-aware and especially be self-conscious, right, of themselves as well, and also of their own characters and traits. I mean, it helps a lot.
This is really, really powerful and insightful. So, in conclusion, what are the measures people that lack self-awareness can take to be self-aware?
What are the measures people that lack self-awareness? Okay. First of all, you need, I call it 3 questions you need to ask yourself, that everybody needs to ask themselves, because self-awareness is a continuous process. You might know yourself to a certain level now. As you grow, as your experiences change, you begin to discover some part of you that you didn't know were there. So self-awareness, first of all, is a lifelong journey. And self-awareness also is the bedrock for self-development. So because if you don't know yourself, then how do you know what you want to work on or what you want to develop? So for you to be able to assess yourself, self-awareness, I call it the how, the why, and the what questions. This is not something you just do. It might take you months. But first of all, you want to ask yourself, how do I see life? How do I react? How do I respond to the situation? How do people see me? Like, how do I process information? You know what happens when a particular thing happens and 5 different people comes back and give 5 different narration of what happens. Yes, you can say something to 2 people and the 2 people will have 2 different reactions because of how they process those thoughts. So you want to ask yourself, how do I see life? How do I behave? How do I process things? Yeah, so when you ask yourself, you take your time. And then when you are able to, okay, because self-awareness, there's an internal self-awareness, there's an external self-awareness. The external one is when I talked about how your emotions, values, and everything affects you and then affect people around you. So at some point, you might want to ask people, okay, tell me, how do I behave? What kind of person do you think I am? But you want to ask yourself, how do I see life? How do I respond to some key things in life? How do I handle rejection? How do I treat competition? Yeah, how do I handle criticism? How do I handle failure? How do I see challenges? How do I see life generally? Some people have a particular perception about life, and that perception condition how they see things. So when you've been able to discover or find out how you actually see life or how you are, then the next thing is why. Now, self-awareness is in level. Okay, a lot of people might have gotten to the first step, which is why, oh, I know I have hot temper. Oh no, I know I'm easily triggered. Like the person that says, I know I don't have empathy. I can't treat people. I'll just be stabbing people. That's the first level. But the second level is find out why.
Why are you like that?
Why are you like that? Because if you stop at the first level, you're just going to walk around with a portfolio telling people, oh, this is me. I don't take nonsense. If you talk to me anyhow, I will give it to you back to back. This is me. But we are rooting for people to become better versions of themselves through self-awareness. So I don't take nonsense. So when you finish the first one, okay, this is how I am. The second one is why. And it will take you time to really reflect, look inwards, look backwards, look forward, look around you. Some of these things might be genetically predisposited inside you. And some of them, majority of them is conditioned because of the environment you found yourself in. I usually say, it's not totally right to say this is who I am, but I think it's better to say this is who I became. Because if you were born in a different environment, if you were put in different conditions, you'll probably be a different person aside from your physical features. Yeah, so why? Okay, why am I easily angry? Oh, I get anxious. Oh, when I want to cast the news, my heart is beating. So, but why? Yes, why do you feel so? That will not take you through a deep research period. And at this point, you might actually need help. You need a professional that might ask you some certain questions about your life, your environment, your upbringing. And you can also, like, I've been doing a lot of this kind of things. Yes, self-awareness, trying to know myself and some of them I could easily trace it back to, oh, okay, I'm actually like this because this was how my mom conditioned me to be, and this and this and that. You can actually look around your family and see some common similar traits, and Yes. So when you finish that why question, the next thing is the what question. What can I do to be better? You get? So it's not enough to know yourself. Oh no, this is how I behave. Okay, you know yourself, this is how you behave, this is who you are. You be choco down by your head, no, they stay one place. And maybe you grew up in a very violent environment where violence is the order of the day and everybody is so agitated. Like coming to Lagos. When I came to Lagos, I used to be very like, oh, okay, but immediately you're in Lagos a year, you just enter that fast pace. You just when you try to look around your environment and you understand and you know why you are the way you are, it will make it a lot easier for you to start working on yourself to become a better person. So if you know that, okay, it's because of the environment I grew up in or the environment I find myself in, like if you find yourself in a place where lie is the order of the day, before you know, because humans are built to adapt. Yeah. Whether you like it or not, when you expose yourself to some certain environment, before you know, unconsciously you start picking up traits. So when you know, okay, I pick this thing up from here, I pick this thing from here, this one, you follow me, come. Then you know the one that you will be pleading the blood of Jesus on and the one that you need to go and reset your. And so basically the how do you see life? How do you behave? How do you respond to life? To the why question, why do you behave like that? When you figure out why you behave like that, then the last step, what can I do to see that I change it?
All right, so thank you so much for this. This is really, really powerful.
Thank
I like the way
you.
you broke everything down bit by bit.
Thank you.
Just to chip in a bit, right? There I feel I like a lot of them being a blazing point, like these are some solid things. I already took note already. I wish I got my jotter. But just to add a few more things. So how people a lot of these things, like you said, like perspective, right? Perception and again the worldview. And a lot of us have a worldview of life, right? And how we see things. And I know that there are questions that people want to ask themselves, and I want to give like a few specifics. One of them has to do with the issue about how the when the how the what and the why,
Yeah.
and the how the why and the what, right? What can I do? And it speaks a lot about growth, because if, like you said, it's not just about identifying what the issue is, right? It's also knowing what triggers those issues and what is the cause of this issue, and then what can I do to help improve myself. And now, a lot of times, this is a question that I just thought about it now, because when you want to choose a life partner, the question you want to ask yourself is this person teachable? It means, can this person learn? Yeah. Because a lot of time now, let me come back to Africa.
The person willing to learn.
Now, a lot of African men are not willing to learn, right?
Don't just say only men.
No, a lot of men are not willing to learn. See, whether we like it or not, I have this truth where I believe that the men are the ones that influence the women's character, whether we like it or not.
Coming from a man.
Whether you like it or not.
Not in all cases. Not in all. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. So
Me, I will support him. Sorry, I'm being biased.
If you're talking as Christians, right, and how we are made, a lot of times, right, what you see when you talk of homes, for example, there's statistics that says that there's this statistic about, so if the father takes the children to church every single day till they grow up, they are more likely to go to church by themselves when they're independent. If the mother is the one that takes them to church, whatever it is they take them to, like it's supposed to be a ritual thing, they are less likely to go to church when they're independent, right? Now the thing is this, and this is not to say that women, of course, without women, where are we going to be, right? But it doesn't change the fact that a lot of this thing, we need them, obviously. But then it's like, for the man in Africa, right, it's a case of they don't want to learn. You can't teach me. I am your husband. I am your head. And so you must submit. And it's like, submission is not supposed to be a bad thing. Yeah. It's just for a woman to submit to you when you love her. The Bible says love her. Yeah, and then she will, like, it's not supposed to be hard. So it's very important you ask, because again, if you're not self-aware and ask these questions that Angela has mentioned, you would find out that you can't, very critical decisions you should make in life. One of them is finding a life partner. A life partner can make or mar you, like literally. Yeah. And and in our generation, a lot of people make decisions on the whim. Mm-hmm. I just want to get married. Why? Who are you looking for? I feel like getting married. Like,
so what will happen when you stop feeling like getting married?
Well, you will not feel like it, because biological, the whole
you have entered. You have entered.
People need to understand that this is very an important thing. Like, if you are not self-aware, you are setting yourself up for like this is self-destruction. Like you're a ticking time bomb, literally.
Yeah.
Every day you are going about life, especially for those who are like so egoistic and proud about themselves. Like they have this external view of themselves, like I'm all this wonderful person, and nobody can give me a feedback, nobody can give me anybody who can say this is who you are, and you need to work on yourself. It's very bad.
Very, very bad.
Everybody needs to be self-aware. When you are self-aware, you can make a very sound decision about a lot of things, right? And so it's very important that we understand these things and not allow just culture influence how we see life, but then understand that this is who I am. This is what culture says. What do I need to understand? Why I really have to like it out before we round down because I'm very particular about understanding that being self-aware is so that you identify what the problem is and then look for ways to grow.
Yeah.
That growth is really what like that's the difference. It's not just about knowing what the problem is or like you don't just say I'm an African man, like you said, I know the year word or you can't talk to me anyhow. Like no, cut that crap. Yeah. That's nonsense. There's nothing like an African man. Like it's a bad thing. I should talk to them about it. Like it's absolute nonsense. Like there's nothing like I'm an African. Like when I hear an African man, it's like what does that even mean? Like what? Like you cannot wake up and cook for your wife. Like you see the idea that you are not teachable. You should be ashamed. People should be ashamed to think that you are not teachable.
My God.
You can learn. The constant of human beings is growth.
Preach.
Growth can only come when you realize your problems, like you realize the issues, the challenges, and your strengths. And when you find these things and people bring them to you, how then can you become better? Once you cannot grow, you are basically dying. Growth is literally everything. Growth in the right direction. And so you need the right guidance, right? So please and please, everything you said is very, very important, and I support 100%. But I also have to bring out this thing so that we understand how serious this is and how we affect generations down the line. Why kids can't ask their parents, Daddy, why? Mommy, why? These are things like, anyway. But
it's fine. Like the way you're going now, you start beating. If they see,
it's fine. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right.
Oh, God.
Out of time.
Right.
So, thank you for joining us today. Like I said, and the topic self-awareness is really broad, and we are unable to uncover it today. But we hope to have this conversation next time again, and we hope to see you. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Tell us what you
and be self-aware too.
Yeah, be self-aware.
Be self-aware.
Right. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peace.